All right, y'all. This is the Lando show. Finished getting setting up right here, and then we're going to get rolling here in just 1 second. 7 minutes late. Almost made it on time. This is the Lando show, though. Appreciate y'all being here. I know a lot of you guys are probably still finishing up watching some college football. Got a lot of important SEC matchups still going on. Ashton Genty still going on right now, still playing. That dude, by the way, we're going to have a little conversation about. But yeah, this is the Lando show. We are Lando Live. And we're talking about the Sunday Night Football Steelers and Cowboys preview. Two keys, right? As you will see right here. The two keys for this matchup are very simple. Number one, it's Mike McCarthy. Can you put on for your city? And number two, can the defense, particularly the front seven, play with maniacal effort? Maniacal effort. Those are the two keys right there. Okay, let's run this intro. We'll get right into it. Got Javante up in the house right now. What's up, man? Appreciate you being here, brother. So Mike McCarthy, okay? Jake Hunter in the house. How we doing? How we doing? Thanks for being here, man. Mike McCarthy, put on for your city. The Pittsburgh native, right? Back home, lots of question marks, 10 days to prepare for an opponent that, you know, let's be real. I mean, this Pittsburgh Steelers team embodies the mentality of their city itself. It's a blue-collar city, right? Most of you guys may not know this by now. My family members do. My close friends do. Obviously, my family members do. But I got half of my blood is Pittsburgh blood. My mom's side, all hail from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They are Yinzers to their core. And so there's always a soft spot in my heart for that city and for the people within it. Right. But that city or that team, right, within that city, they embody it. They play the way that their history would indicate that they might. The Steel Curtain, the Steel City itself, right? This defense is a problem. If you try to play stagnant, old school, archaic football, right, offensively, the way that the Cowboys have shown a tendency to and a propensity to thus far in this season, okay? Can Mike McCarthy figure out a way to take the page out of DLaw Kneeland? Can he bring modern easy buttons and nuances to the Cowboys offense when they still have yet to find so much of an inkling of an identity in the run game? Okay. What I want to do is talk about, I want people to understand, because, you know, I say it all the time. It's really been one of the main messages throughout for the last 2 years, really since I've been doing this professionally or full time, at least in the most professional way that I possibly can. Here's Luke Kuechly on the impact of motion, right? When I say easy buttons, just so we're all on the same page yet again, okay? Motion at the snap. Cowboys don't do that nearly enough. Play action. Cowboys don't do that nearly enough. Partly because they can't run the football. So you got to make teams honor the run and, you know, load the box a little bit more often if you're making them threatened by your ability to run it before you can get super creative and fancy in that realm. But bunch formations, condensed formations. Those are the things of the Shanahan tree that have given us so many problems and that we've become so accustomed to longing for, right? Seeing the way that they can often operate efficiently. And it's the things that can make the general public question Christian McCaffrey's importance to the San Francisco 49ers. Question, Jimmy Garoppolo's relevance to the San Francisco 49ers in years past when, just insert former undrafted free agent quarterback here that can come. Nick Mullins, I think, was one of them. Who was the other one? There's a couple other guys, right? Just come in and operate efficiently, play within the offense and play on time, and just really not skip a beat when their starters go out. It's what allows somebody like Jawan Jennings to come in and just take the fantasy football world by storm when Deebo Samuel is out and Brandon Ayuk is still trying to find his rhythm after holding out for a new contract, after George Kittle gets banged up and misses a week or two. Jawan Jennings comes in and he's 12 for 140, God knows how many, and 3 touchdowns. Right? It's these things that they're easy buttons of the offense that force the defense to hesitate, to play in concrete cleats. Okay, for lack of a better term, there. Eye candy stuff that holds the second level. Okay, if you can't just overpower people the way that the Ravens can, the way that the Buffalo Bills are starting to be able to, the way that who's another, the 49ers, right? The Lions. These premier offenses with an identity, right? And even the Chiefs last year. Physical, downhill, but committed to marrying their running game to their passing game. That way, teams can't key in on specific tendencies before the ball's ever even snapped, right? These are things that the Cowboys have struggled with, right? And so we kind of all understand we're on the same page with what easy buttons I'm referring to. Here's Hall of Fame, soon-to-be Hall of Fame linebacker Luke Kuechly on what exactly motion does to a defense, right? The impact of it. Okay, here we go.
Seeing Luke, just every year there's innovation with motion. Every year you're seeing everybody's trying to do the newest thing. One of the things this year that's been interesting, not what Buffalo's doing is nuts, like what the way they've been moving guys around. But to me, what's jumped out, I was talking to Kurt.
Can you guys hear that? Let me know if you guys can hear that in the chat.
No stress on anybody in the second level of the defense for him to get out front side. He's motioning across to make it 2x2 to 3x1. And you're like, he's just going to move over there.
Okay.
Nickel comes over, Mike and will switch. You can figure out rotate.
We've seen Luke, just every year there's innovation with motion. Every year you're seeing everybody's trying to do the newest thing. One of the things this year that's been interesting, not what Buffalo's doing is nuts, like what the way they've been moving guys around. But to me, what's jumped out, I was talking to Kurt Warren about this the other day, was the speed of motion now. Like, dude, it used to be almost like it was an indicator, it's a coverage indicator, kind of mosey along. Like, dude, like now
so real quick, what he's talking about, okay? When he says the speed of motion now versus what it used to be when it was just a motion or a coverage indicator, okay? That's the difference between pre-snap motion and at-snap motion, what Daniel Jeremiah is talking about. Pre-snap motion is what the Cowboys do a lot, okay? Still not enough, but they have a lot more of just like, bringing an H-back and splitting him out into the slot, or bringing, motion and CeeDee Lamb from one side of the formation to the other, or having Zeke go from in the backfield to, like an up back or a wing position just to help chip potential on incoming pass rushers, right? Those types of things, okay? In this particular matchup, when you've got TJ Watt on the other side, and yes, that's obviously a significant area of concern for this Cowboys team. He's going to be lined up against Terrence Steele for the entirety of this game, and that's going to be an issue for us if Dak's forced to throw the football 50 times to try and win the game. like he did in week 3 against the Ravens. Okay, but one of the ways that you neutralize somebody with that level of pass rush ability is eye candy things. Okay, you motion at the snap to cause him to hesitate just a little bit. Okay, and obviously another way that you can neutralize that. This might be another heavy Zeke Elliott snap and touch game just because of his prowess as a pass protector. Took the majority of the snaps in week 1 against Cleveland. We predicted that. It made sense, right? Helping out your rookie left tackle against the reigning defensive player of the year. Similar thing here. Okay, nobody gets chipped more in football than TJ Watt does. 47% of his pass rush snaps he's chipped. Something along those lines. It's in the high 40s. Okay. Yes, that's partly due to obviously his Hall of Fame level ability, but it's also because the Steelers deploy him similarly to what was much to the chagrin of Cowboys Nation last year with their personal deployment of Micah Parsons. They leave him, I call it, entrenched to one side of the line of scrimmage, where it makes the job of the opposing offensive coordinator a little bit easier because they know exactly how to prepare for him and scheme around him. Okay, now TJ Watt is just so dominant that he makes that matter less than it does for Micah, and mostly because of his size, right? He's got about 15, 20 extra pounds on Micah. He's more of an edge-setting presence in the run game. Micah needs to be moved around a little bit more just because he's 240. You know, he's built like a linebacker, okay? So different strokes for different folks, obviously, but back to the point here, okay? At snap motion, much different, and that's what they're talking about here. It's not only giving your quarterback a tell, but at the same time, it's giving your receiver leverage, speed leverage, head start, right, at the snap, so that he's already moving full speed. And the DB that's traveling with him across the formation, assuming they're in man coverage, he's having to navigate, and he gets lost sometimes in the traffic. That's also the beauty of bunch formations. Okay, those are things that we're looking for here. Okay, keep that in mind in this game.
They are rolling on motion.
Well, you think about, all right, so say it's 2x2 and the slot receiver motions to 3x1. There is no stress on anybody in the second level of the defense for him to get out front side. He's motioning across to make it 2x2 to 3x1. And you're like, he's just going to move over there. Nickel comes over, Mike and will switch. You can figure out rotation. But now it's like, hey, we're playing the San Francisco 49ers and they line up in 2x2 and Deebo Samuel is running Mach 5 across the formation. I don't know if he's getting the ball. I don't know if he's running a pass route. Now I have to get, hey, is this zoom motion? Because if it's zoom, I have to bump. It's just the more.
So when Deebo Samuel's flying across the formation at Mach 5 speed, like Luke Kuechly's saying here, at the time of the snap, not only is he giving, it's a multifaceted advantage for the offense, okay? Not only is he getting a head start, a leverage advantage, right, with the speed element, he's forcing communication and also hesitation from the defense. They got to figure out who's now gap responsible for what. Who's got which gap, and also, hey, I got to bob and weave around my own teammates before I can even think about doing my job as a cover man. Right. So there's so many different advantages that this creates. It's just, it's malpractice not to do it. Okay. I'll pull up a chart here for y'all in a second. That way we can all see, like, the best offenses in football are doing all of these things at the highest rate in football. It's just, there's a very obvious correlation right now. Okay. And it's, once again, malpractice, as you guys probably saw from the stream on here about 10 days ago when I really began to highlight this. Okay. 10 days since their last game. That's when you better start to see some changes, some long overdue and much needed changes within the structure and the scheme of your offense. Otherwise, heads will roll.
Speed that happens pre-snap on the offensive side of the ball, the more stress it puts on a defense. And it makes playing the run game really hard because you can't get downhill. All your movement as a backer is lateral. It's just, stress on the defense is caused by pre-snap motion and the speed at which they do it.
It's pretty self-explanatory right there, y'all. He said it as good as I ever possibly could. But it's really that simple. Okay. Any questions on that before we get on to the next topic here? The second key. That was key number 1. All right. Let me know in the chat and make sure the audio is clear. Okay. You guys that's the only way of knowing. I'm still mastering the whole production side of this thing. But with your guys' feedback, we'll get there. All right. Key number 2. You see it right there. Point blank period. Maniacal effort from the front 7. What do I mean by that? Well, Mazi Smith had his breakout game last week. The first round flashes that Cowboys fans have been waiting to see for, what is it, 19 games now? 8, no, more than that. 18 last year, 1, 2, 3. So 21 games. And then finally, dominant performance from Mazi Smith. Now, granted, we're talking about the Giants here, okay? Not jumping to any conclusions. I've got to see it again, and then probably again before he really has my attention, right? And before we can really start to say, okay, like he's turning a corner, right? It's about consistency. So maniacal effort from the front 7. You're down Micah Parsons for probably 2 weeks. You're down DeMarcus Lawrence for probably 2 months. There are ways to be better despite the departures of your 2 best players, your 2 best run defenders for sure on defense. And that way is, and this is the sports psychology, the sports below the surface stuff that we talk about so often on here, is by playing with a borderline reckless abandon. Playing fast. Even if you're missing, miss fast. Okay? You can't play on your heels, right? So the maniacal effort can offset whatever leverage disadvantage you may have, which the Cowboys usually do with their defensive interior, the interior of their defensive line. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers team that is going to line up, and as I get this film pulled up here so you guys can see exactly what they're going to try to do to us, copy and paste from the Ravens game plan, Lamar Jackson right here. Look no further, okay? This Steelers team, what is going on with this screen share? This Steelers team, y'all, is going to line up. Like I said, you saw the preview that I did, that I posted, and I try to make this as easily digestible, as palatable as I possibly can. Okay, because sometimes with the things that the Cowboys are dealing with right now, football doesn't have to be difficult. It really doesn't. People try to make it more difficult than it really is. But for the Cowboys against the Steelers team that wants to run the football 40 times at you if you let them, with 2 different 240-pound running backs, and yes, I am including Justin Fields in that category. There's no disrespect to him as a quarterback, but when he tucks the football away like he's going to do probably at least 10 times tomorrow, he becomes a really talented running back, and it's his efficiency in that department is exacerbated because you got an extra hat in the run game. Okay, that's what makes Lamar Jackson so special. That's what makes Josh Allen so special. It's a numbers advantage in the run game, but also their ability to create via the pass while on the run. Like Justin Fields, y'all, you're not going to see him stand in the pocket and deliver over and over and over and over and over again. You're not. It's just not the level that he's at right now. So, and the reason why I know that, okay, they simplify the read for him. They load the box intentionally, okay? They're forcing the opposing defense's hand by putting 2 and oftentimes 3 tight ends on the field, okay? Which crowds the box, and it gives a lot more space on the back end or on the outsides to George Pickens. That's really their only receiver that they target. It simplifies the read for him. First read isn't there. Check down's not available. Tuck it, and I'm gone. Advantage in the number. Advantage. Numbers advantage in the run game. Okay. So let's just look at this for a second here. Okay. And I want y'all to watch the at snap motion, both directions coming right through the middle of the formation. Check this out. Zay Flowers motion at the snap right there. Isaiah Likely coming back across the opposite direction. Think about everything that second level, especially, and even more particularly the edges. What they're having to think about right now. Eyes going left, eyes going right. Follow the pulling blocker. That's usually a good idea. Micah crashes early, leaves the edge uncontained. Eric Kendricks can't recover. As Isaiah Likely out in space, boom. Splash play in the run game, 12 yards, first down. That's the opening play. Okay, here's it from the opposite view here, the end zone view. This is exactly what the Steelers are going to try and do. Okay, they'll go gun, and everything's going to be zone read from the gun. The edge setting integrity of your edges tomorrow, and in the absence of, once again, two guys that one's a rookie, and the other one is a fourth-year man, former third-round pick Chauncey Gholston. He's going to man that one of those other edge positions, right? Since he's been in the league, really, he played mostly edge in college at Iowa. DQ turned him into a penetrating 3-tech, and so that's kind of what he's been. But I've long since believed, and as have many others, that Chauncey Gholston's best position in this league is on the edge, right? Because he can play more physically. And this is a perfect game for Marshawn Kneeland and for Chauncey Gholston to be your edges, right? I think the Cowboys are actually going to be better off than most people would initially be led to believe when you hear DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons are not playing this game, okay? And just walk with me here for a second, right? Because of the style of play that Pittsburgh wants to play. They want to play phone booth football. Okay, Marshawn Kneeland, second-round pick, rookie for the Cowboys, okay, number 94. You'll see him all over the place tomorrow. Was a ready-made NFL run stopper because of the strength. He is 20 to 25 pounds heavier than Micah Parsons. Okay, there is a very concerted effort, a very specific reason for why the Cowboys were targeting a player of his caliber. They didn't have somebody like him opposite DLaw. When teams like the Bills, the Packers, the Niners want to go downhill at you with 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, and say, okay, you are built to stop the pass. We will not throw the football. We will beat you by bullying you. That's where Marshawn Kneeland comes into play. That's where Chauncey Gholston comes into play. Okay, so maniacal effort, good leverage, and eye discipline from your front 7 tomorrow. Eric Kendricks, physical downhill player still. Not great in coverage, moving backwards, not ideal. This Pittsburgh Steelers team, not going to really threaten you. Justin Fields, like I said, it's going to be a lot of 2-man route combinations. Okay, first read, check down, not there. I'm taking off, tucking and go. He's not sitting in the pocket and delivering. Okay, he's making plays off script and off platform. All right, so Donovan Wilson playing in the box a lot tomorrow. Why? Because the Steelers are going to dictate that. They're going to bring 2 and 3 tight ends onto the field. Cowboys have to counter with heavier personnel. Okay, so you'll see Chauncey Gholston, Oso Digizua, Mazi Smith, Marshawn Kneeland. That'll be the front 4. Assuming that they deploy a 4-man front tomorrow. I could see, who knows, if they try to pull a rabbit out the hat and try to counter. But that's the most likely scenario tomorrow. Okay, and then you're going to see Marist Liufau, another rookie. But that's the dude that the Cowboys identified as a reckless, abandoned, physical downhill football player. Another guy that they lacked, especially at the linebacker position last year. Okay, this is a Marist Liufau game script and game style. Okay, the Steelers want to play in a phone booth, downhill, control the clock, and let their defense win this thing for them. They're perfectly content and more than capable, as they've proven already this year. It went 17-14, 21-17. Okay, 13-10, old school phone booth football. So that brings me to my next point. Okay, we kind of understand what I'm getting at. It's going to be trigger, get downhill, fill gaps with force, and play fast. Okay, maniacal effort in your front seven. Now, the next key for me, just within that group and on that same topic, also Digizua has a chance here, has an opportunity. And yes, Linval Joseph's going to get some run, but at 36 years old, you know, he was never – he's a rotational player. Like, he can't play more than 20 snaps and be effective, guys. It just doesn't work. Okay. I'm going to let some of this run here, but this is also Digizua's opportunity now. He's in a contract year, man. Third round pick, really good player. Effective, especially with a positive game script, much like Micah Parsons. As a pass rusher, a penetrating 3-technique defensive tackle, okay? He plays, he brings some of that maniacal effort, that relentless energy up front, right? But with his body type, if Mazi Smith isn't able to hold his own, and like in years past, Jonathan Hankins can't hold up in the middle, and so like you got nobody that's really commanding a double team. Oso Digizua is getting comboed and duoed all the time. And so he's breaking down towards the end of the season. It's happened all 3 years, his first 3 years in the league. Really good Pro Bowl caliber player for the first 11, 12 weeks of the season. And then you just start to see like he disappears down the stretch. And it's happened 3 times in a row. So until further notice, that's who he is. Right. So let's see if Oso Digizua can take the same approach. Demarvion Overshown Marist Liufau, Eric Kendricks, maniacal effort in the run game. Can you step up and earn that contract extension? All right, because this is it, man. I mean, you're the leader of that front now. This is Osa's unit right now. All right, he's the veteran. He's the most productive. He's got the most skin in the game, alongside Chauncey Gholston, who's played just as much, or has played almost as much, more of a rotational role, but. Same draft, both third-round picks. Osa, man, this is your opportunity now to say, okay, I refuse to get moved off of my spot. I'm gonna hold my ground here, and I'm gonna let 13, 50, and 35 flow, rally, and tackle. Okay, and that play right there that you just saw, get ready for that tomorrow. Because you best believe Arthur Smith saw that. And he says, hey, I got a guy that's pretty much just as athletic, a lot bigger than Lamar Jackson at the quarterback position as a ball carrier. Anything you can do, I can do just as well, man. So this, like I said, this formula, it's not difficult. Can you force the Steelers into third down situations where they're having to throw the football? Something that they don't really want Justin Fields to do more than 20 times a game if they can help it. Can you win on first and second down, force them into thirds, and play with that maniacal effort? Other side of the coin, Mike McCarthy. Can you finally figure out how to marry your running game to the passing game, bring the easy buttons of offense into your scheme, and help sustain drives and keep your offense on the field so that your less than ideally equipped defensive line interior can stay off the field longer and more frequently than they have the first, 4 weeks of this season so far. They did a really good job against the Giants last week. Still don't really understand why the Giants had more of a pass-first approach, even though the Cowboys did have a lead throughout the first half. I don't know why you're still not saying, hey, let's dare the Cowboys to stop us in the run game. We dare you to hold up on a short week on the road, division opponent. And they just didn't. So, once again, that just, I guess, goes to speak to some of the ineptitude of the Giants organization in general. It's weird, but I know what Mike Tomlin, I know how he operates. I know what Arthur Smith his entire career, what he likes to do, the one thing that he's good at is running the football. That's not going to be a problem for him tomorrow. Okay. So just for me, here's how I'm going to be watching the game. I can't tell y'all how to watch the football game tomorrow. Okay. What I'm going to be doing is, we got Sadiqa in the house. How you doing? Let's go. I'm watching that line of scrimmage. Okay. Let's see if that banged up. And that's another thing too. Okay. Let me go ahead and acknowledge this. I got to get better about clearing these things up at the top of the video before I start rambling. But the Steelers will be without their entire right side of their offensive line tomorrow. Okay. Troy Fautanu, first round offensive tackle. He's playing right tackle for them this year out of Washington. He'll be out. And on top of that, I got a banner for this, actually. Let me go and pull this up so y'all can read it. You're seeing it at the bottom of your screen on the ticker. James Daniels, their right guard, is also done for the season. He tore his Achilles last week. Not sure if Troy Fautanu is going to be out for the rest of the year or not. I still don't know if that's been made official yet, but I know for sure he's out tomorrow. So Isaac Seumalo, who is another guy who's missed some time, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, that's their left guard. If he can be reactivated and inserted into this game tomorrow, that helps neutralize and offset being without their right side of their offensive line. Cowboys down 2 significant players. Steelers now down 2 significant players, but they potentially get Isaac Seumalo back. And that's big for them on the interior. Okay. But Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth, and I believe Cam Hayward's brother is the third tight end that you will see often tomorrow. 13 personnel. And let's go ahead and pull up some of the Steelers film. And look at that. First play of the game. Okay. Make sure y'all can see this. View on StreamYard. Yes. Okay. There we go. First play of the game here. What do we got? Look at this, guys. One receiver split out. You got one tight end to the right side of the formation, to Justin Fields' right. You got 2 tight ends. That's Hayward and Darnell Washington to the left side of the formation. It's 3 tight ends out there. Okay. So look what that does to the Colts defense. Just count the guys inside the tackle box. And 40, I'm going to include him in it. But just start from 40 and work your way across and then come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this safety is about to trigger downhill as well. That's an 8.5 man box right there. And the Colts, the strength of their defense, which is their defensive line interior, they blow rookie Nick Frazier. I'm sorry, not Nick Frazier, Zach Frazier off the line of scrimmage there. That might have been the guard, but you get the point. Okay. They're able to control the line of scrimmage, play them with great leverage, maniacal effort. All right. Beat the Steelers at their own game, phone booth football. Look at that line of scrimmage. That entire front 7 or 8, whatever the case, is obliterated. Okay. Nowhere to go for Najee Harris. And that's a dude who, once again, 240-pound running back. You're going to have to tackle him and the other 240-pound running back on this team, Justin Fields, 40 times tomorrow probably. So you better bring some punch and pack a lunch, right? Because they're coming. Second play of the game. Here we go. Same thing. This actually looks like 12 personnel here. So 2 tight ends, unless that's Freiermuth in motion. It's 13 again. That's 13 again. Yeah. Yeah, that's 3 tight ends right there. Same thing, okay? Loaded box, Justin Fields under center, 13 personnel. Not going to challenge you through the air, guys. Just not who they are and what they do, not what Justin Fields is good at this current stage of his career. Play action boot. First read's gone. Make a play with your legs. Get positive yards. Take care of the football. Don't force the football into traffic. Don't turn it over. That's what he's done. He's done a dang good job of it. And their defense, they can play complementary football and play in this fashion because they know that their defense is going to hold opposing teams, especially at home, especially in prime time, especially at night. Good luck scoring 3 touchdowns. Big day for Brandon Aubrey tomorrow in all likelihood, right? Good luck. When you haven't proven to me that you can offset the strengths of that Steelers defensive front, their front seven, who plays always, once again, they embody the blue-collar nature of their city. Maniacal effort, relentless energy. Okay, they are going to dominate and play sound defensive football if you refuse to bring the modern elements of offense back and play stagnant, archaic football. You will lose this game. But just watch what they do here offensively, okay? Very simple. Great recovery here by 94. Let me see who that is. That's Taquan Lewis, okay? But they're getting Justin Fields on the move. If I'm like, so let's just talk about tendencies real quick for a second too, okay? I'm going to let this play so y'all can see it. If I'm Arthur Smith tomorrow, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm coming out 13 personnel, knowing the Cowboys are probably expecting that. I'm play action booting from the left hash, ideally, booting Justin Fields to the strong side, the throw side, out to the right. And I'm seeing if I can, I'm testing the integrity of the Cowboys' eyes when they're, prepared to sell out at 100 miles an hour to stop the run. Get a little tight, one of the 3 tight ends out there, slip him out in space into the flat or on a little flood concept to the right, with Justin Fields booting to his right, to his strong and throw side. I'm testing the integrity of their eyes. And let's say that they do. Let's say they're ready for it. They're prepared for that throw off of the run look. Because I would expect Mike Zimmer to have conditioned this into them with 10 days. Like, once again, they should be well prepared here. But if the Cowboys are ready for it and they're backpedaling in coverage, guess what? You've got a 240-pound running back booting with a full head of steam. Can either get positive yardage for his legs, throw it to a wide open man, or dump it out of bounds for no gain. Right? No harm, no foul. But I mean, right there, that's a nice on platform playing within the timing of the offense. That's a great delivery, great throw, strong, competent throw. But you're not going to see that very often. That's the whole point of this. Okay, so the rush lane integrity is the same as, rush lane integrity and pass defense is equally as imperative as it is in the run game tomorrow for the Cowboys defense. So, I don't necessarily know if like mush rushing is the best, muddle rushing, whatever you want to call it, is the best formula here. But to me, that's probably what I would do. Just have Marshawn Kneeland hold the point of attack, right? And then just read, because they're going to put those guys in those situations. That's what they're going to do. I don't know. I haven't studied closely enough. Like, the ball handling of Lamar Jackson is equally as impressive as his athleticism to me, right? He's very, very calculated and talented within just the ball handling, right? I don't think Justin Fields is nearly as fluid there as well. So he may be less deceptive and just kind of give away natural tells and keys for more veteran players like Eric Kendricks, who have seen a lot of football. I guess, if you want to talk about Linval Joseph, maybe having an advantage, whatever advantage there may be, if he could kind of diagnose some things and maybe maybe throw Zach Frazier out of the way so that a linebacker from the second level can trigger a little bit quicker. But it's if you can intentionally keep him in the pocket, right, and then bring Donovan Wilson downhill. I know Donovan Wilson has been sort of the not the victim, but he's rightfully had the finger pointed in his direction through a lot of the games this year that are the splash plays, the broken plays, right, the blown coverage assignments that have occurred, particularly against the Saints and the Ravens. he was kind of under the microscope there, and rightfully so. I've talked about that. Wanye Thomas deserves some run. I don't know if we're ever going to see that. It's kind of annoying to me. It seems as if politics are in play here, but nonetheless, this is a Donovan Wilson game style, right? This is what he does. When Donovan Wilson is playing in the box and downhill, asked to just help in run support, he's a $10 million player. Anything else outside of that, he's really not. And so, once again, right, you're going to see, like, just look at what the Colts are doing. Okay, that's a 4-man front. This is base personnel. They got 3 linebackers out there. Cowboys are going to have Marist Liufau, Eric Kendricks, Demarvion Overshown on the field together. And Damone Clark is obviously going to spell those guys as well. But they're going to be on the field a lot together tomorrow. Okay. Just watch the speed at which they trigger and just diagnose. Actually, this is not the play that I want to show y'all. Hold on, let me back this up. Just look at how fast you have to commit and just play with a full head of steam downhill against this offensive approach. And that's not the right play either. All right, third time's a charm here. Let's see if we can figure it out. Where are we at? Right here. Okay. I think this is it. So look at that Will backer right there. That's a run blitz. What down and distance is this? 1st and 10. So this is what I love to see, right? Okay, make this a third key in your mind. Okay, I didn't really elaborate much on this, but this deserves to be mentioned here. Okay, run blitzing with people who thrive in doing that. Donovan Wilson, Marist Liufau. Just commit to getting downhill, filling a gap, and going at 100 miles an hour towards the line of scrimmage, towards the ball carrier. If you're playing fast, you're playing effective. With what the Cowboys lack in the middle of their defensive line, that's what you have to do. That's the only option. It's the only answer tomorrow. Because if you let them do what the Saints did to you and what the Ravens did to you, it's over. It's a wrap, man. But just watch how quickly he triggers. He's already creeping. Justin Fields is not a guy that's going to diagnose run blitz or just diagnose the blitz in general and throw directly behind it. Those are veteran quarterback things. That's something that he's not doing right now. He's creating off script and off platform. So this is where Mike Zimmer brings the double A gap mug and is doing all these exotic rolled coverages, right? Showing something pre-snap, getting into something different post-snap, changing the post-snap picture for a quarterback that struggles to process. This is what you do. Come downhill and fill. That's it. Fill at full speed. Fill at full speed, man. I forgot I was supposed to text my best friend he's a Steelers fan. Just come in here and let him know when I was live. I told him 9 o'clock, but he's on dad duty as well. So he's not always as punctual as he normally would be or would otherwise like to be. Let me get my guy Chris up in here. All right, there we go. Where were we? Let me get to the chat real quick. Let me check, see if you guys have any questions because I've kind of been rambling for a sec. Get back to y'all. Oh, 8 comments. What am I missing over here? Angie, that rebel chick's in the house. What's up, girl? She says, hey, Lando, how you doing? What we thinking for the game tomorrow? Score predictions. What do you got for me? Sadiqa in the house once again. She says, I think Justin is going to be in trouble tomorrow. I hope so. And the one thing I will say, too, about this Cowboys defense, you know what? Let's go ahead and run some of their film because I just, it's really not worth my breath going super in-depth and in detail about what the Steelers are going to try and do. I think I've done a pretty decent job, or at least I hope so, of explaining what they're going to throw at you. It's just, can you hold the point of attack against heavy personnel, and can you play sound run defense with gap integrity? That's it. Maniacal effort. 27-17 Cowboys, says Angie. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Let me get this Cowboys film pulled up for you so we can just kind of see the effort and the energy that I'm talking about. That was a great sign, and I tried to bring that to life against the Giants last Thursday. All right, let's go week 4. Here we go. Dallas at MYG. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Pull up Daniel Jones, too, so we can just see the defense here. All right. While y'all are going to see one play. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. Yep. Angie says make Fields throw. And how do you do that, Angie? You stop the run on 1st and 10. And then you do it again on 2nd and 10 or 2nd and long, right? Sell out to stop it if that's what it takes, right? If they come out 1st and 10 on their opening script and they're getting first downs 3-4 consecutive times in a row, sustaining a 10 to 12 play drive, they're controlling the line of scrimmage and having their way, then Mike Zimmer has to adjust immediately and say, look, we cannot go down 7-0, 10-0, 14-0. I've got to sell out to get a negative play, a tackle for loss, a stop for no gain, to put my defense, to help, to give my lighter in the ass defense a chance. And also, like she's referring to here, make Fields throw. Those two things run symmetrically. Okay? When you give your adequately equipped pass defense, you put them in opportune situations, guess what? You're playing to the weakness of Justin Fields as well. Okay? So the Steelers' strength is your weakness. So can you, offensively speaking for the Steelers, their strength is the Cowboys' weakness. So can you bring that maniacal effort and offset whatever disadvantage, physical height and weight disadvantage that you may have beyond Mazi Smith and Linval Joseph, right? Because that's just the hand that we're dealt right now. Can you overcome your physical inadequacies with maniacal effort? That's the key. That's the whole key to this game. All right. And with that, real quick, I'm going to have to take 15 seconds because I got the bladder of a 3-year-old toddler. And we are going to be right back. Y'all bear with me real quick. 1 second. 20 seconds. Not gonna lie, that was pretty close. That was record time right there. All right. Anybody got a score update for me, by the way, on the Tennessee match? The Tennessee game? Somebody fill me in here. Yeah, so Cowboys week 4. Let's take a peek at just watch the effort. Watch them fly around, man. And then after that, after this, we'll talk about Brandon Cooks and the receiver situation here because I know that's a lot. That's what a lot of people are wanting to hear and are excited to see tomorrow. If the Cowboys do what I've kind of been calling for, and Mike McCarthy, he brings some of the modern nuances of football into the system, into the offense. the things that I'll be looking for is, can they weaponize Hunter Luepke? And what do I mean exactly by that? Okay. That's a dude, when you play in the conference that he played in at North Dakota State, and when you come from where he comes from, one of those corn-fed boys, that's the dude that you bring in motion across the formation at the snap and have him absolutely take out whichever edge or secondary or tertiary defender is crashing downhill that has the misfortune of meeting him in that particular C gap or whatever the case may be. You can line up in an I formation and hand him the football. You can get him on design screens. Like this is like, people always, and thank you, Reggie, for that. Appreciate you, man. 14-13 Tennessee. Thank you, Angie. Hunter Luepke is a guy, like, that's your Taysom Hill. He creates so many different mismatches, right? If you get him, he already showed you he can beat Kyle Hamilton, one of the better tight end erasers in this league, better covermen for the particular position that he plays. You know, he's a small linebacker, a big safety. Like, he's the big nickel, right? He's what every Cowboys fan wanted Jaron Kearse to be. That's Kyle Hamilton. That's the North Star of that role in this league. Okay. Big enough to play in the box, fast and athletic enough, and, you know, with enough football IQ to play in coverage. You can't single him out as a mismatch. But guess what? Hunter Luepke runs like a little 20-yard corner, beats Kyle Hamilton in the process, and Dak dots him up. That's a 240-pound fullback we're talking about. 245, really. That's Najee Harris routing up Kyle Hamilton, one of the better cover men at his position for his particular role in the league today. Secondly, right, I don't know if you guys, you may or may not have seen, let me see if I can find it for you. My breakdown on Brandon Cooks. Is Cooks cooked? This one right here. Okay, and this is we'll kind of lighten up the mood of the discussion here real quick. I get in my zone and I kind of have a tendency to be pretty serious. And thank you again, Reggie, for those words, man. Appreciate you being here. Hope you guys are having a great evening. I hope y'all are watching some football, getting your fix in. Excited about the game tomorrow. Go get your Jesus on in the morning. Enjoy a stress-free noon and afternoon. We got actually football at 8:30 in the morning Central Time tomorrow too, because of the London game. So that'll be awesome, man. It's a good weekend, good fun weekend of football. Yeah. So, I mean, this right here, you guys can read it. But if you're not looking at your device here, I'll go ahead and do it for you. Is Brandon Cooks cooked? And here's just, once again, my lighthearted way of touching on this situation here. Okay. And it's simply keep a serious situation. And by the way, y'all please go watch that video and let me know your thoughts on it as well. Because I can't improve. I can't build community. I can't continue to grow within my own craft if I don't have feedback from you guys. So I value that tremendously. And y'all know that by now, but really appreciate whatever you have in this particular video, especially. Okay. An attempt to keep a serious situation a little more lighthearted. And for those of you who are unaware, Brandon Cooks is on IR. Okay. They place him on IR. That means he's designated to return. He's missing a minimum of 4 games with an infection in his knee. Okay. After the Giants game, he was treated for a therapeutic injection. I don't want to speculate, but something along the lines of, BPC 157 is a popular compound now. It's essentially an amino acid on steroids that kind of acts, it's like cell regeneration. Okay. Brandon Cooks was getting some post-game therapeutic recovery levels of an injection to reduce inflammation and presumably pain in his knee. Okay. And once again, I'm just familiar with these types of discussions and these things. Given my days playing professional baseball, I had to learn how to do a lot of my own body maintenance and care. Okay. So I'm very well versed in a lot of this stuff. That injection got infected. Okay. So he's now out 4 weeks minimum on IR. Okay. So here's what you maybe didn't consider at first upon hearing this news, but this is exactly where my head went, y'all. I mean, I can't make this up. I tweeted this on October 3rd. So 2 days ago on Thursday at noon. That's when I was made aware of this issue. So it says, in an attempt to keep a serious situation a little more lighthearted, Brandon Cooks likely wouldn't be needing recovery injections in his knees if he wasn't being asked to slam on the brakes so often. Slowing down is much tougher on your knees than speeding up. Okay, with the brain emoji, right? And then, of course, I wanted to finish it up with a respectful note. Prayers up to BC3. But what do I mean by that? Thank you, Sadika, for sharing that. You guys are awesome. Y'all are the best. What do I mean by that? By Brandon Cooks slamming on the brakes so often. The routes that he's being asked to run. Okay, he's doing the things that fans have been waiting to see Ryan Flournoy do. Right, because I touched on all this in this video. You guys will, I really feel like y'all will enjoy and appreciate it. Okay, so please go check this out. It's on my YouTube channel. Brandon Cooks, at this stage of his career especially, but always, his superpower was, keeping him on the move and in space. Okay. He's going to win on verticals because he can accelerate so quickly. Yeah, he's not as fast as he used to be. He's not the same 4.3 guy that he was coming out of Oregon State, but he's still a more than capable wide receiver too, and a more than capable vertical threat in this league. But the Cowboys haven't deployed him correctly. They've done it completely wrong. Right? So Brandon Cooks on goes, posts, drags, digs, basically everything vertical and in breaking. And I counted, the math is in the video. It's not off the top of my head. I don't have my notes from that. Actually, I do. Yeah, see that. Whatever I wrote down is a little confusing. So that's my own chicken scratch jargon on there. But we calculated that he has 19 targets this year so far. And I think he has 12 catches on those 19 targets. If I'm discerning what I wrote down here correctly. Okay. 5 of those 12 catches, he was asked to run a stop or a curl. And it was Dak Prescott trying to hit Brandon Cooks on a timing route to the sticks. And I think 3 of those 5 were on third and long. So you've got physical DBs or just any defensive back in general, right? Most of them are going to be more physical than Brandon Cooks is. And this was a huge problem for me and a lot of the reasons why I was excited for Kellen Moore to go was their solution on third and long was way too often stop routes to the sticks. Okay, and that's exactly what I covered in this video here, Brandon Cooks, and that's what I'm trying to illustrate and re-emphasize to you right now. 5 of his 12 receptions, he's slamming on the brakes and running a stop route. That works potentially if for a guy like Ryan Flournoy, who some of the Cowboys players and media and brass are saying behind Micah Parsons is the second most physically gifted athlete on the entire roster. A stop route for somebody who can use his, get a little nudge at the top, at the break of his route. Create a little natural separation with his own physicality and not necessarily with his feet. But even if he doesn't, has the frame to box somebody out and still go high point the football. Brandon Cooks at this point, he's not going to separate well or effectively if you're asking him to slam on the brakes, because the older you get, the harder it is to slow down. That's what people don't get. I'll use a baseball analogy or a reference. Velocity as a pitcher, that's what I did. It's not about how quickly can you accelerate your arm. That's going to allow you to throw hard. It's about what does your brain know that your arm has. At what level can you slow down the level that you speed up your arm? So it's the posterior chain that allows you to speed up, if that makes sense. Right? Brandon Cooks' body isn't going to let him accelerate faster to the point of that he knows he can slow it down on a dime, right? But either way, it's the change of direction and the slowing down, being sudden within your cuts. For a man that's aging, for an older player at any position, but especially the wide receiver position, who relies on burst and acceleration, the brakes go first more than the top end speed does. That's why he's getting injections in his knees. His knees are banged up because he's asked to full speed, boom, 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 slow down instantly, and it's just hard. It's hard on your body. It's hard on your knees. It's hard on that joint, man. And so they're just deploying him incorrectly. So here's the thing, right? Let's kind of put a bow on this conversation here. Ryan Flournoy is the guy that you want throwing, you want to throw a 3rd and 9 or a 3rd and 11 on a curl to the sticks. You can back shoulder him a little bit. I don't know what kind of chemistry he and Dak have, whatever their timing is right now. That's another potential red zone threat. But Ryan Flournoy, what I can guarantee you is he instantly helps the Cowboys at a level within their offense that Brandon Cooks cannot possibly. And that's being able to delete people as a blocker. It might be bedtime, guys. Ryan Flournoy helps your run game, in my eyes. Okay, that's synonymous with the weaponized Hunter Lipke point I was trying to make earlier. 12 personnel with Jake Ferguson, Hunter Lipke, Zeke or Rico, whoever you like. I don't care. I'm not going to have that discussion right now. And then CeeDee Lamb, Ryan Flournoy. That's a physical group up front right there. Very physical. You got Hunter Lipke lined up in the wing or even in the I formation at the fullback directly in front of Zeke as a lead blocker. But I love him even more than that, coming across like from the wing or from off. Like if he's stacked next to Jake Ferguson, he's coming across the formation, just on a wham block, just clearing out whoever's that crashing on that opposite end. Full head of steam, man, just clearing people out. And then you've got CeeDee Lamb, who's not like known for his physicality and even for his effort as a blocker, but he's got the length and the frame to do it for sure. But Ryan Flournoy, that's one of the things that jumped, like the eye test, why he popped and flashed so much. Yes, for his ability to high point the football, the body contortion. It's got a lot of Michael Gallup qualities in the air as a pass catcher. But man, he's doing Des Bryant things. The Des Bryant comp for me is more related to the willingness and the ability and the effort and the run blocking department, man. Because let me see if I can find. I didn't have this queued up, but let me see if I can pull up some film on him real quick on Twitter or whatever. Ryan Flournoy. Surely somebody's got some, like, every snap in the preseason or whatever. I should have probably dedicated a project to this, but I can't always do what I want to do. We can't always get what we want. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Varsity choir 2 times running, baby. Here's me. August 11th. I said I'd be sick if Ryan Flournoy was this year's version of Isaiah Land and John Ridgeway. Luckily enough, roster building loopholes exist to prevent that from happening. So I just want to see the front office get this one right. Athletes like 18 do not grow on trees. And so what I meant by that last sentence especially, and here's another one for me. It's funny. I just Googled that, searched that, and 2 of my tweets pop up. But it says Ryan Flournoy sure as heaven looks the part, doesn't he? I hope y'all can see that. But yeah, I mean, guys like Flournoy, he's different from the likes of the Tyron Billy Johnsons, the Jalen Moreno Croppers, the Jalen Tolberts, the Jalen Brookses of the world. All right, say those names one time fast. He's built like a safety, but he moves like a receiver. Right? This just kind of tells you, this summarized. I love the RAS, relative athletic scores, as far as just getting an idea of any particular player's ability just as an athlete, who they are. This relative athletic score, it's super popular, especially amongst the draft community, evaluating athletes and the combine and draft process. But here it is right here, man. So the RAS, the top green line going across the middle of that, is kind of summarizes his overall athleticism. Okay, 9.89 relative athletic score. Okay, he's so for his position, what that number is telling you is he's the 98th percentile athlete at the wide receiver position amongst all qualified and charted. I think it dates back to the 80s. Forgive me, I don't exactly know the year. I want to say it's like 1987 or something like that. So there's a database of receivers that have entered the NFL dating back to just call it just say 1985. Okay. Just get a general feel, or even 1989, since Jerry Jones took over the Cowboys. He is a 98th percentile athlete. Okay. Six feet. Wait, that's not right. Is he only 6 feet, y'all? That's not right. I thought he was 6'2", 6'3". Hold on. No way. Wow. Okay. So look, that just goes to show you right there how physical he is. Just like his frame, his appearance, the way that he presents himself, just the body type, the way that he moves, right? He looks like he's 6'3" out there because that's how big he plays, like he's that big. Still 6'1", 201, 6 feet. I guess he's listed here. Let's go. We're going to go with what the athletic score says, because I believe those are official. Those numbers are combine official, I believe. So whatever the case, okay, just under 6'1", 202 pounds. 91st percentile strength on the bench press. Once again, that should your alarm should be going off for what he could potentially provide for this offense, the running game, in the run blocking department. Okay. 39-inch vertical, 94th percentile. 11-foot broad jump, 97th percentile. 40-yard dash, 4.44, 88th percentile. 20-yard split, 2.57, 88th percentile. 10-yard split, 1.52, 93rd percentile. So his acceleration is even more impressive. It's better relatively, okay, the relative athletic score. It's better than his strength at the point of contact, allegedly, if we're just referencing the bench press, okay? If we're just assuming that translates, right? The compound movement, total compound upper body strength, okay? It's better than his 40-yard dash relatively, and it's better than his 20-yard split. Okay, so he's actually accelerating as if he's a 4.38 guy as opposed to a 4.44 guy because he's almost 94th percentile with his 10-yard split. Does that make sense? So anyway, Ryan Flournoy, man, really excited to watch him tomorrow night. And I'm sure he'll get a few different opportunities against Joey Porter Jr. That'll be fun to watch. There's a couple physical freaks right there, man. Couple good looking athletes, guys that pass the eye test for sure. What else we see? Oh, Angie says, I would love to see a Lando and Boss Cowboys sports collab. So we definitely will be doing some more of those in the future. And Sadiqa says, Lando and Vach would be awesome. So I actually thought Vach reached out to me back in the middle of the summer about collaborating, and we weren't able to make our schedules work, I guess. I had to be probably oddly and unexpectedly specific for what the answer that he was looking for. And I'm wondering if that just kind of deterred him a little bit. If that is the case, that's on me. It's my bad. I own it. But I was just being honest with them. I kind of gave them a very specific set of times and schedules, and it's just the reality of the situation that I'm in right now because of my two baby girls. So I don't necessarily have the freedom that I otherwise would, or that somebody like he has. So whatever the case, he and I, we've exchanged pleasantries in person and otherwise numerous times throughout the past, and so I imagine we'll be definitely doing some work here in the very near future. But love what that dude does. He's the trailblazer for people like me. He's alongside Law Nation, who I've already worked with Law Nation a couple different times as well. Those are the kings of Cowboys sports media. So tremendous respect for those two guys. And they know that I've told them in person and many other times on various different social media platforms. But yeah, those things are coming for sure. So thank you for each of you referencing that. Just to even be mentioned in their company is a blessing, and it's humbling. So I appreciate that. Trying to think of anything else I'm missing here, y'all. I know I've probably forgotten a few things, but I guess matchup wise, it's the three Cowboys linebackers just playing fast, hair on fire football against the Steelers running game. That's number one. Key number two is giving Dak the necessary keys to continuing to allow him to play at the MVP caliber level that he played at last year, and then even potentially even more so. Because you can bring the easy buttons back that you brought back down the stretch of the season last year that helped you be the number one offense in the league, but you can also still improve upon that, right? Quarterback's best friend. What do they always say? It's a running game. All right. Figure out how to run the dang football, man. Come on. It's not that difficult. And having two rookies at the point of attack on your offensive line is not an excuse. See high school football teams, college football teams at every level, motioning at the snap, misdirectioning, play actioning, bunch formationing, basically everything opposite of what the Cowboys are doing currently, all the time. Okay. Matchup number 3, Trey Diggs opposite George Pickens. George Pickens is a special talent, guys. And I hope that you guys know that by now. It shouldn't be a shock to you to hear me say that. But that guy in a pass first system as the alpha wide receiver, like you put that dude in, like he's a better version of T. Higgins to me. Put that dude in Cincinnati. Kansas City's the obvious one, but we're really not even seeing Patrick Mahomes play good football this year. So I'll skip the Chiefs on this particular one. That's the obvious answer, right? But Josh Allen would love to throw to a guy like Pickens. It's a guy, he can run every route. He will absolutely delete you in the running game. I want to pull his highlights up, y'all. Let me show y'all something real quick because I feel like not enough people understand like what we're dealing with here. If he had a pass first quarterback playing in a pass heavy system. I've done a few different projects on him in the past, like just quick hitters, like of things where I'm just like forced to stand up out of my bed, hit the rewind button, and just talk about it because this he's just that gifted. But yeah, I mean, he does a lot of the things that would excite you, the things that you would be anxious to see if Ryan Flournoy could provide. Just anything relative to what George Pickens can do. But, man, I don't think there's going to be a good – let's do – yeah, edit. Anyway, you guys can do that on your own. You want checking out our guy, George Pickens here. What questions we got? What have I missed? Anything that y'all need me to touch on that's unclear at this current juncture or that you're curious about? You know, talk to me before I get out of here. If we got no questions, I'm going to go to bed. But I'm here for y'all, so help me help you. There he is against the Bengals. What was that? Last year. Was that his rookie year? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. Let me make sure while y'all are submitting your questions to me. Actually, another thing we can do is this right here.
The way I see it, there's only two ways the Cowboys can win this game. The first of which is their run defense playing out of their minds. This Pittsburgh team, under Arthur Smith especially, they want to play 12, 13 personnel, and they'll run it 40 times at you if you let them. Much like the Baltimore Ravens want to, much like the Buffalo Bills chose to last year. This Cowboys team really struggles at the point of attack defensively. Finally got a flash performance from Mazi Smith, their former first-round investment. But he by himself will not be enough. When you bring more tight ends onto the field, like the Pittsburgh Steelers do, it's rush lane integrity, okay? More tight ends on the line of scrimmage equals more gaps. And more gaps equals more gap responsibility for a team that has struggled in that department. All right? Can you bow up, even, down your two best players, get physical?
But I just reminded myself of a point. I knew if I played that, I would have another important thought come back to mind that I wanted to continue to reemphasize. Okay. So more gaps, you just heard me say more gaps equals more gap integrity or gap responsibility. The flip side of that coin is more gaps for the offense. It can sometimes hinder an offense. And this is a Steelers offense too, by the way, that is definitely privy and no stranger to the negative play, because once again, sometimes Justin Fields doesn't, it's working with a rookie center as well. And then Justin Fields, a quarterback who still doesn't necessarily process information pre or post snap as quickly as other more veteran guys may. Okay, so he's susceptible to not accurately and adequately not only diagnosing where a blitz might be potentially coming from, but then also delivering a precise and a decisive and precise football promptly directly behind that. So even on 1st and 10, if you want to try to help your defense out and put yourself in some positive pass rush situations, which is not what Justin Fields obviously wants to do, bring some pressure, run blitz on early downs, force them into negative plays and playing behind the chains. That's how you create an advantage for yourself. When you are out, I don't want to say outclassed, but outmatched physically up front on your defensive interior. You offset that by playing decisively downhill with reckless abandon. Okay. So, but one of the downfalls potentially too, especially now that the Steelers are dealing with their right guard and their right tackle being done or being out of this game. I know, like I said, you're seeing it down there at the bottom. Troy Faltonu is out. It's their rookie first round tackle out of Washington. And then James Daniels was their right guard. He's done for the year with a torn Achilles. Okay. If you're stunting and blitzing and bringing pressure from the second level and kind of disguising your blitz packages, you're forcing communication on the offensive side of the ball, which is what we talk about so often, right? Why I say that the easy buttons of offense make it's so beneficial, because you're forcing communication, creating leverage, and all these other things on the defense. But the defense can reciprocate, right? That's how defensive coordinators are punching back at all this stuff. Okay, they are now disguising their coverages, rolling their coverages, and doing different things with their pre-snap alignments and their post-snap pictures. So they're playing the chess match back, and you can do that. That's one of the ways you can create an advantage for yourself. Give your defense leverage by confusing Justin Fields. Okay, but those 8 guys up front that are on their offensive line, right, with 3, 2, and sometimes oftentimes 3 tight ends attached, right? That's more gaps for your defense to be responsible for, yes, but it's also more opportunities for miscommunications and blown assignments with your protections, the way that you're sliding things, right? There's more opportunities for mishaps, and there's more opportunities for penetration to blow plays up into the backfield, because everything is closer and all bunched in together in the tackle box and to the line of scrimmage. Things are happening quickly. So if you time it right, if you diagnose it, or I'm sorry, if you dial it up properly, if you're Mike Zimmer, you can create havoc. This is an offensive line they don't have continuity right now. Yes, they're physical. Yes, they play in a phone booth on both sides of the ball, but make them play slower. Make them second guess. Make them communicate. Force communication defensively as well. So it's Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer each have the same responsibility. This is a coach match for the Cowboys tomorrow. Mike McCarthy, can you put on for your city? Can you press the easy buttons? And Mike Zimmer, can you have the game plan ready with your defense, your front seven especially, playing with their hair on fire? That's where this game is won. Those 2 things. That's the formula that you see when you click on this video. I do believe that that's what will make or break this game for the Cowboys tomorrow. Trevon Diggs is due for a turnover. I don't know who's going to be playing opposite him. Kalen Carson's status is still in question at this point. I'm guessing he's probably going to be. I don't know if it's already been released, but I'm assuming he's designated as a game time decision. In which case, I would imagine he probably doesn't play because they've already elevated. Oh shoot, you won't catch me slipping. From the practice squad, our Warrior. What's his first name? Somebody help me out. Came over from the Lions. Had the essentially the game-ending interception last week against the Giants. But yeah, we're gonna see him tomorrow. If Kalen Carson's out, Andrew Booth. That experiment lasted all of a first half of football. You know, Giants clearly were prepared to go right at him early and often, and they did that to a high level of success. So, you know, I mean, as talented as George Pickens is, yeah, he's, you know, I would hold him in the same regard as Malik Neighbors, but the skill set is a little bit different. It suits Trayvon Diggs' abilities better. He plays better just against your more like the bigger, more physical receivers. He just does, right? I mean, can we create a turnover tomorrow? Can we put the Steelers early in long downs and distances? 2nd and 12, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. Get your defense off the field and let your offense operate from a neutral game script. Okay. Huge test. 10 days to prepare. No excuses. Okay. Brandon Cooks isn't cooked, but I think you can see the Cowboys cook harder because of some of the things, the tendencies that they have, the wrong ones, in my opinion. Y'all know how I feel about it, but in a 2 tight end formation, or, you know, in instances in which Hunter Lipke and Jake Ferguson are on the field together, if your 2 receivers are CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert, or CeeDee Lamb and Ryan Flournoy, you're better in the run blocking department all across the board. Okay. You can throw some more of those curls and stop routes to a bigger body like Ryan Flournoy that has a higher catch radius, a much larger catch radius, is much more physical at the catch point. Logan says we need to go out there and rest out depth. I'm not sure if test out. Okay, there we go. Test out depth and prove we're built ready. Yeah, that's it, man. It's just a matter of will tomorrow night. How bad do you want it? Front 7 on the defense. Can you play with your hair on fire? Maniacal. I think that's all I got for y'all, man. We'll get up out of here. Thank y'all for being here. Here is, while we wrap this up, that's one of the ways that you can support me. If you don't follow me on every other social, that isn't YouTube, the QR code right there, that's my link tree at the top right corner of your screen. You can scan that on the playback or whenever, you know, find another device. If the one that's not the device that you're currently watching from, scan that, and you can follow me on every other platform instantly, which is with a scan and a click of a button. And then the other ways to support the channel are the Venmo right there. It's Landon-Holyfield, and Cash App is the money sign followed by Landon Holyfield, all no spaces in there. But yeah, that's it, man. Let me get score predictions from y'all one more time and see how we're feeling. Logan, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. I don't know how long you've been lurking, but either way, it doesn't matter to me. Better late than never. But never late is better. Drizzy. Yeah, so with that, trying to make sure cover all the bases here before we sign off. He said, I'm definitely a lurker. That boy, 38-15. Sheesh. I'm actually probably more confident about this game than I should be. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling with 10 days to prepare. Chauncey Gholston and Marshawn Kneeland, the gap between DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, and then those two guys in the run department, which is where you're going to be tested most often against this team, is significant, but it's not as big as most people think that it is. And I'm going to write that down because I want to tweet that out because that's important. You're going to see Marshawn Kneeland make plays in the backfield tomorrow, I promise you. And Chauncey Gholston as well. He is best served as an edge in this league. So he elevates just merely by lining up where he's best suited to line up. His game automatically gets a bump tomorrow, right? And then, your weakness in the secondary is Dono in coverage playing backwards, but this isn't a team that's going to try and test you. And if they do try to test you vertically, it's all going to be off script, or it's largely irrelevant anyways, as far as what kind of coverage prowess and IQ that you have. It'll be Malik Hooker. That's the middle field closed deep man, and he's got more range and a little bit better instincts than Dono does. So stay over top of George Pickens. Don't let your eyes fool you underneath with Pat Freiermuth, and play downhill and stop the run. Get ready to tackle two 240-pound running backs 40 times tomorrow. And if you're ready and prepared to do that, the Cowboys can win this game. Dak Prescott and company, they may not start fast tomorrow because for whatever reason, once again, Mike McCarthy, this offense doesn't there's a stark difference between the Cowboys and every other opponent that they play. Their opening script as opposed to their opponent's opening script just looks drastically different. And I think the Cowboys this year are 3 and out every time they've opened the game with the ball. So in other words, their opening script sucks. They're not adequately prepared. And if they're adequately prepared, they're not executing. Both equally as alarming and damning. But neither here nor there, no matter what, right? That's the thing. You have the advantage at the most important position. So if your defense can get enough stops, Dak Prescott's absolutely good enough to beat that defense and put enough points on the board to win the game. I think the Cowboys can win. I don't know that they will, but I think either way, this is going to come down to the wire. We're going to see a nail biter, which is all that you can ask for. Okay. Y'all want Devontae Adams to come in. Y'all want Amari Cooper to come in. I've already told y'all that's not happening. But if you want to be players in the trade market and you want to hold out hope for this season, you want the Cowboys to be aggressive. They got $24-some-odd million right now in cap space. Definitely got enough money to go and bring some of those guys along that y'all are asking for. Hassan Reddick is even more unlikely, by the way. But you want to leave that back door open for some sort of splash move, whatever the case, whatever level that may be, or whatever your heart desires. This Cowboys 53, given the current state of obstacles that they're forced to overcome now, with the 4 games on deck leading up to the trade deadline, force the hand of your front office, regardless of whatever their master plan is, which we already know at this point, I've already told y'all, is to prepare for 2025. That's what they're doing. They're clearing the books, got all the space. They're prepared to have a fresh slate. And I saw somebody bring that out after I did. I talked about it well in advance, but somebody brought the headline in an article. I think it was actually, I can't remember who. I don't want to get caught slipping there either, but somebody said Jerry Jones finally admitted what the actual plan is. And that plan is, it's a soft rebuild. Yeah, I told y'all. I talked to y'all about this, right? Once I saw, yes, I thought that the additions at the defensive tackle position were going to be enough to take this team over the top. It turns out that was wrong, and I've admitted that. I was wrong about Jordan Phillips. The Phantom IR, it was so bad in week 2. 2 weeks in, Mike Zimmer said, you're in timeout. Unplayable. And Linval Joseph is 36 years old. Okay, so still, you're in the same situation you were last year. at that spot. You haven't upgraded it at all. You can if you want to, if the front office chooses to. But you forced their hand. You went by taking care of business on the field. Go win 3 of the next 4. At Pittsburgh, home against Detroit, at San Fran. Is Atlanta on the road? Got this schedule right here. I can't remember. Yeah, at Atlanta. Win 3 of those next 4, which that would be a miracle from my perspective at this current point. But if the defense shows they're willing and able to play with the maniacal effort and hold the point of attack tomorrow against a team that wants to run the football in 12 and 13 personnel more so than any other team in the league, okay, I'll retract that statement and I'll eat crow, and I would love to. If Mike McCarthy wants to prove to me that he's willing and able to overcome all of his tendencies that have held this team back, but also kind of set him back in his personal coaching career down the stretch in Green Bay, if he can overcome those things and marry the running game to the passing game, figure out some semblance of a rushing attack, right? And then just press the easy buttons in offense. At snap motion, misdirection, and the running and the passing game, right? And then just create natural separation by bunching together your formations. Stack Ryan Flournoy on top of CeeDee Lamb, or stack Jalen Tolbert on top of Ryan Flournoy. Let those guys help each other out. Guys that are younger in their career, right? More youth in the tooth. Give them separation advantages. Mesh those 2 guys, right? Easy, just something simple. Run a simple drag. Let's see what Ryan Flournoy can do after the catch. Get his confidence going early. Throw him a little tunnel screen. Or, matter of fact, throw a tunnel screen behind Ryan Flournoy to CeeDee Lamb or to Kevontae Turpin. Also, that's the last point I'm going to make. If you go watch that video that I did about Brandon Cooks, and then just picture Kevontae Turpin doing everything that I'm lobbying for in place of Brandon Cooks tomorrow night, you might have something, ladies and gentlemen. You might have something, okay? The way that this offense is currently deployed, currently structured, is malpractice. But Mike McCarthy holds the cards and the keys to change that narrative. Starts tomorrow. Sunday Night Football. Cowboys at Steelers. 50% blood, man. House divided for me and my family. My entire mom's side is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Born and bred. So that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Let a friend know. Chances are, if you enjoy this content, then you know somebody else that will too. Hit the like button for me. And then remember that prayer changes things. I firmly believe that. I feel like I'm living, breathing example of that. Would love to be an open book or just talk to anybody that has some things that they've been internalizing or trying to overcome for some time now, obstacles, hardships in life. I want to be a resource to you for that if I can be, just because I feel and I believe so strongly in that aforementioned statement. Okay. Prayer changes things, y'all. Let go and let God. Remember that the war is already won.